Okay, delighted to say back on the channel today is the political commentator Patrick O'Flynn. Patrick, lots to talk about. First of all, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm very well, enjoying the sunshine.
Patrick, I want to start off, of course, with Boris Johnson's visit to Northern Ireland today and this article that he's written for the Belfast Telegraph. Now, it's a long article. I'll put a link down below for those who haven't seen it. But just to go through some key points, he says the Chancellor of the Exchequer in his spring statement to say that people in Northern Ireland could not be granted the same benefits in terms of tax and VAT as those in the rest of the same country is a serious issue, and concludes by saying, I hope the EU's position changes. If it does not, there will be a necessity to act. What do you make of all of that?
Well, I think when we've spoken about this before, I've said that I think Boris Johnson is playing a long game, and this is part of the long game. It's very helpful for him, I think, to be seen to be ratcheting up the pressure. But the enabling legislation that he's decided to try and put through Parliament to authorise us opting out of parts of the protocol, that could take a year to go through. There'll be bust-ups with the House of Lords. It'll put certainly Keir Starmer and Labour on the spot in the House of Commons about whether they want to risk yet again seeming to be on the side of Brussels and against their own country. So I think the sort of political theatrics plays well for Boris Johnson. He gradually ratchets up the pressure on the EU by sort of laying out a path that ends with us unilaterally dumping bits of the protocol. And he sees if that pressure comes to bear. And I think we're seeing early signs from the Republic of Ireland, Simon Coveney, saying that basically Brussels is ready to compromise. Well, we've heard it all before. But I think it's a bit like the Rwanda migrant thing. There's a big fanfare. And then, people who want the government to crack on with this stuff are going to get a bit fed up again. I think it's playing out over probably an 18-month period, and one can't help but suspect they've got the kind of choreography in mind for the next general election.
I've got to tell you, Patrick, and I cannot emphasise this enough, that people here on my channel, Brexiteers, for months now really, have just been saying we are sick to the back teeth of all this talk from the government about what they could do, what they might do. We've had negotiations with Lord Frost in the EU. We've had negotiations with Liz Truss in the EU. It seems to me they haven't got anywhere. And I've got to tell you, Patrick, patience with Brexiteers has already run out. They increasingly have little faith that further talks and discussions for the EU that roll on for months more, they feel as if we're just being completely strung along and the government aren't being decisive enough. Would you agree with that?
Well, I would, and I think it's part of why the government's poll ratings are a bit depressed at the moment. The only thing I would add is that we're feeling very cheesed off now, but if they get their choreography right, then in about 18 months' time, we'll be looking at an election between Keir Starmer's Labour Party and the government, that may have the law on the books to allow it to scrap parts of this protocol to make faster progress on the channel hopping problem, and we may hold our noses and vote for them as opposed to the alternative. So I can see their reasons for stringing it out, but I agree with you, people are pretty fed up, and the risk is this is a government that continually is seen to kind of unleash gimmicks which, quote, never happen. I did a Twitter poll on my Twitter feed the other day about what will happen first. We start sending migrants through Rwanda, or we scrap parts of the Northern Ireland Protocol, or hell freezes over. And by a landslide, people voted that hell's going to freeze over first. So the danger is it looks like a do-nothing government on the issues we care about most.